Hello everybody, I'm Richard Bone of Love to Live podcast version. So this time, what I'd like to talk about is that the internet is going to bring agricultural society back to us, or back to humans, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So of course, so in this time, the title is the conclusion of this episode. So I'm going to tell you the conclusion, and the conclusion is the internet is going to bring agricultural societies back to us, or back to humans. So I use the plural term because I changed from a singular term to a plural term because there are many. So it's up to how you regard agricultural societies, because this is my opinion, this is my perspective, but maybe there are many types of societies. Human beings have many kinds of forms, which is my understanding. So for example, so the agricultural society you imagine might or must be different from that I imagine. So the agricultural society in my mind is maybe different from the agricultural society you imagine in your mind. So maybe that is because we live in different countries, and I live in Japan, and you live in maybe in most cases, or in the most of the listeners of my podcast are people in United States of America. So maybe you live in some state in the United States of America, maybe. So coming back to the original topic, of this episode. So why I happen to tell you this is because, so how should I say, so after the pandemic of COVID-19, or after the pandemic of this type of coronavirus, and I'm recording this episode, or I'm creating this episode in the middle of February in 2022. I'm creating this episode in the middle on February in 2022. So the pandemic has widespread for still now, and anyway, but people began to realize that Omicron strain is really weak, and which is why of course Omicron strain has really a high infectivity. Omicron strain has really a high infectivity, but Omicron people do not get severe problems thanks to the contributions of vaccines, and thanks to the contributions of the measures to prevent themselves from catching coronaviruses or COVID-19. Anyway, so I'm sorry. So COVID-19 is not the center of this episode. So agricultural societies. So why I began to say this kind of a kind of crazy stuff is because people got used. Maybe if you live in a developed country, so most of us, or most of the people have got used to working at home, or working in your own houses, or working in your own residences. So so nowadays, or not recently, so these years, or these days, or from the near past, or years before, people need personal computers, or computers to work. Works need computers, or works need computers, and works need the internet, or works need communications through the internet, or online communications are necessary for working, which is a condition we are all of us, maybe almost all of us are on. Then I will tell you again. So online communication is necessary for almost all of us, which is a condition of people living in developed country are on. So if you maybe most of you live in most of you live in developed countries, and if you don't live in developed country, and if you live in developing countries, any case is fine. Where you live is fine. Maybe most of you use the internet or online communication systems for communicating whilst you are working in your own residences. Anyway, so considering such a situation, please think about, or please imagine your own agricultural society again. Maybe some people in the images of some people, farmers may have some grounds for raising their own food or raising vegetables a little far from their own residences, which means some people may have their own farms, which are located away from the residences of the farmers owning those farms. But in other cases, farmers may have their own farms near their residences or near their houses, which is the point of this episode. So so in most cases, it's fine to use any farm if you become a farmer. So if you become a farmer, so you can use any farm. If you'd like to use a farm which are located or which are set away from your own residences or where you live in, it is fine because if you want. But so if you live in a urbanized area, for example, maybe it takes from 30 minutes to 1 hour to go to your own workplace and come, and it takes the same duration of time or the same period of time to come back from your workplace to your own house, and total commuting time a day, or total commuting time per day is, for example, so 1 hour to 2 hours, which is the average lifestyle of the people living in urbanized areas in the case of developed countries. So thinking about such a condition, please imagine that, would you like to have farms far away from your own houses, or would you like to have your own farms near your houses? So which one would you like is what I'd like you to imagine. So maybe most of you want your own farms near your own houses because commuting time is a kind of waste of time. Maybe you can understand this point if you live in an urbanized area. So maybe you can severely or seriously understand what I'm telling you if you live near Tokyo, for example. Anyway, so maybe you live in the United States of America. Maybe you live in the United States of America in most cases. So thinking about that point. So working at home in the point that working at home, online business and farming are the same, or online business and agriculture are the same in the sense, or in a sense that in both cases people work at home or people work in their houses or in their residences. So thinking about this case, it can be said, please imagine that almost all the people, not almost all the people work at home, or all the people work at their own houses using online system in the future, in the far future, for example. So in such a case, maybe people work work as maybe people begin to work as if their ancestors have done in in the era of agricultural societies. So you may pose a question, or you may come up with a question that So if that is true, so there is a possibility that hunting societies may come instead of agricultural societies. But please imagine that please imagine that, or please understand that our ancestors have chosen agricultural societies instead of hunting societies, which is because we, human beings can make plans for creating or raising food and harvesting food we would have eaten. Please imagine such a possibility that by raising our own food using farms, or by raising and harvesting our own food we are going to eat, by using or by planting seeds and raising those plants. It's possible to make plans to harvest or get or obtain the food we can raise. Please imagine such a situation. And so in the point that it's possible to make plans for getting food. Hunting living long with hunting it's not so secure, because by using hunting it might be, in some cases it must be difficult to get food as you have planned. But so please imagine that it's really difficult for you to make plans for getting food by using the livelihood, or by using the way of hunting. So considering the availability of food considering the availabilities of food between hunting and agriculture. Agriculture comes before hunting, so which means agriculture is advantageous in terms of the availability of food. So we can easily get, or we can easily take by using the manner of agriculture. But it's difficult for human beings to get food, or it's difficult for human beings to obtain food as we want by using the manner of hunting. Please understand this point. So thinking about this kind of thing. So coming back to the original topic, I wrote the title. The internet is going to bring agricultural societies back to us is because the internet has enabled us to work at home, and thanks to the contribution of the pandemic of COVID-19 or coronavirus, so we have gotten used to working at home, which is why I think in the far future or in the foreseeable future, some kind of agriculture, some kind of societies which might be similar to, or which might be alike to agricultural societies may come to us, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So maybe that type of societies use or generating benefits with online communication or online system maybe really close to maybe such societies in the future may be close to agricultural societies in the ancient time, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So in the future, some type of society, some type of societies is going to come to human beings, and the type is really close to that of agricultural societies in the ancient time, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.